Well, it does. It feels like we've been playing more Wednesday, Saturdays lately. So to not play until Thursday, that's typically what we're used to. It was a really good week. I thought we had a great practice on Monday because it was strictly just get better ourselves. I think too often you get tied up in trying to prepare always for the next opponent, and we really had a good solid day of let's clean up what we need to clean up and let's really compete. I actually thought Monday and Tuesday we really competed in practice, and it was really intense, and I think we got better because of it.
When you look at, I mean, maybe this is my ignorance of the world, but when it comes to modern day basketball, it seems like it's like one big and a whole bunch of guards. But you have two, and you run it out there. How does that change things for you guys?
Well, I actually feel like we have three out there because we really play Carly as our backup 4 or 5, and she's out there playing the 3. So we have a lot of size, at least to begin the game. What does that do for us? I think it just plays right into our style, which is to get the ball inside. And we love to post up our guards, but when you're looking at Jenna at the 4 and Carly at the 3, there's just not a lot of teams that can match up one-on-one against those players who are constantly getting to the block and trying to score it inside. So it gives us that advantage. I think because of that, now you're seeing teams play us a little bit differently. We are seeing a ton of physicality in our league. We are seeing people trying to counter us inside, and by trying to do that, by trying to shove us out and trying to double team us or even playing more zone than they typically play because of that, because of the style of play and because of the size we can put out there.
Jenna, I think of the last time you guys saw Oakland, you guys had 20. You had 20 in that game. I guess how have you kind of worked with Megan? It seems like I think she's coming off 20 in the last game, and you had like 15 and like a ton of boards. How do you two play off each other?
I think, like Coach said, it's a good opportunity to have a lot of size out there on the court, and I think she's very dominant inside, and that allows me as the forward to play more on the outside, and I think I'm also a threat out there. So I think going against Oakland and Detroit Mercy this week, I think it's like a great example again to use our size that we do have and try to get Megan touches down low and hoping that they sink in on her because she is a threat down there, and then she can find shooters and drivers on the outside. So we work really well together.
Jenna, to the outside eye, it almost looks like you're seeing the rim is 10 feet wide out there. What's been the catalyst for your confidence on the court as of late?
I don't know. I was actually talking about this recently about that even if I do miss it, I do feel like the confidence for my coaches, for my teammates, and for myself that I know, like, if I shoot it again, the next one's going in. So I have the confidence to keep shooting, even if I do miss, and I think my team needs that for me. So, like, if I were to shut down, I'd be hurting the team more than just missing the shot. So I think getting reps up in before practice, during practice, really helps also build that confidence.
So much of coming into this season was made of, you lose pretty much everyone from last year and you come into the new, and what is it going to be for the two of you? Have you been able to just grow as a unit throughout this time, and just how fun has this stretch been just as a collective?
Who do you want to answer that?
Jenna.
I'd say that it was definitely there's some growing pains at the beginning with just in the summer figuring out how FIS was going to look for this team, and I think throughout just like the beginning of the season we've really figured out what works well for certain lineups in the game. Like Coach said, we start the game with me, Megan, and Carly out all on the floor. But eventually Megan comes off, I shift to the 5, and then those, it's just different lineups that we have in the game that really, I think, mesh together, and each individual grouping kind of works well together in different ways. I think we have really good point guards in Cammie and Maddie that are able to find anyone at any time, and that really helps me get open, helps them all get, they're getting themselves open by, their passes and able to get downhill. So I think we work really well together.
Yeah, I think we're continuing to grow. You mentioned it. We lost 85% of our minutes and points from last year, and I just think the time in the summer was so valuable. And I give Jenna a lot of credit that 6 returners had to carry forward the Green Bay way, and so much of the summertime, yes, it was introducing our offense, and yes, our defensive system, but so much of what we do is our culture and the way we do things, and that's why I think you're saying there were some bumps in the road or certain situations where we had to handle that and say, that's not what we do here. This is the way that we do it, and that is what we needed to set in the foundation first. And then everything that's come off of that, I give the players a ton of credit. I think that they're buying into what we're doing. The chemistry is so big in our system because we do play motion offense. They are playing off of each other. We're not running a set every time down the floor. And so they have a lot of freedom. And when you have a lot of freedom, you have to know how each other plays and to work to each other's strength. That takes a lot of time to develop. So I don't know that I will, until the end of the season, sit back and really appreciate like what this team has done or what we're going to do. But at this point, I'm really proud of the growth or the development that we've seen, and full well knowing I just don't think we've played our best basketball yet, and that's a really exciting thing too.
What do you think your best basketball looks like?
Well, I think we've shown a lot of stretches. I think when you look at the Fort Wayne game, the first 3 quarters that we played were incredibly aggressive offensively. And that's really, I think, how I thought we were going to be when I evaluated at the end of the summer, saying we might be the team that outscores people and not really stops people. And then all of a sudden the game started, and now we're holding teams down. So then that piece started to get better. And so I think it's just seeing both sides of the ball work at the most elite level that we can get them for 40 minutes. I think we've seen stretches of both, long stretches of both. You saw in the K-State game how incredible our defense was, and then we couldn't put the ball in the basket. So can we do both at an elite level for 40 minutes? We haven't done that yet, but I'm okay with that. I think we're really okay with that. We want to do more stretches than not, but we also want our best basketball ahead of us. You don't want to be peaking right now, and so we're just trying to string all that together.
Tend to know in conference play, how hard is that to accomplish when you're playing teams that are familiar with what you do?
Yeah.
And now seeing
A second
for a
time.
second time,
Yeah.
how hard is that? How remarkable is that?
Well, the second round gets harder. I know I stepped back after this first round and said, okay, now we've seen everybody. And my second thought, it came instantly, was it's about to get a lot harder. The hardest part is ahead of us because you know each other better. What you saw on film and then you saw them in person, and you're like, oh, that looked different here, or she looks different, or that size looks different. Now you just have a better feel. You just know, and they know us better too. So it gets harder now. I think everybody gets a little bit smarter. I think you know how to play each other better. You already had one crack at everybody. So now it's time to make the adjustments that are needed, and it does. It gets harder. It also gets more fun because you feel like you're a little bit more familiar, and it's just in our league, watching what's happening, anything can happen. So you just have to continue to stay ready every night.
Jenna, you're one of the returners, so you've been through the gauntlet of this conference before. Mm-hmm. For you now, seeing teams, does it get funner for you when you see them again?
I'd say yeah. I think when the teams have returners, or even just like knowing that we did get a lot of transfers in the whole Horizon League, I think it's fun to watch those players play against other teams, and then we're prepared to play them in our games. And I think that's really, really fun to know, like the returners who I've played against in the past, but then also the new guys who are doing incredible things in the league as well. And I always take a lot of pride in who I'm guarding. I try to really focus in on like who I'm guarding and trying to stop them. And I think that's like a little fun thing that I think we've had here for a long time, is everyone takes a lot of pride in who they're defending. And I think that makes it fun too, because I know there's a lot of really good players in the league, and trying to find one, stop them every single game is kind of like a fun challenge, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Coach, a lot of times winning helps with culture, right? Mm-hmm. If you're winning, you have happy player, happy team. Mm-hmm. Culture. Whether or not the roles were reversed and you guys weren't winning is not really the point, but do you believe it's more so winning helps with the culture, or culture feeds the winning?
No one's ever asked me that before. Of course, I think it's fun to win. It certainly helps a lot of situations. I think the culture always comes first. So I think it's because our culture is the way that it is. We always say it's not what we do, it's how we do it. And if we don't have that in place, that's the thing that really feeds into the success that you see on the court. So when it comes down to game planning, or we prepped one last prep today before the game tomorrow, we don't ever talk about this is how we're going to win this game. I mean, we're like, here are the keys to the game, and here's the process we're going to do to accomplish these keys, and the rest will take care of itself. So I really think that it's just how we do things, and the players, no question, have to be bought in to the way that you're doing things. That feeds into the success.
How important is it to never stop growing and feeding into that?
Oh, it's huge. Yeah, it's huge. And you finish the first round and don't take a breath, because you just haven't accomplished anything yet. And I know that everybody else is talking about it, but we don't. We are constantly like, we came back in on Monday and we're like, here's all the different things that we were not very good at on Saturday, and here's what we have to do to clean up. And we had a very intense practice that wasn't very comfortable. We easily could have come in and said, all right, you guys, we're undefeated and let's take it easy today, and it's just not what you do. I think as the target grows bigger, you have to get more and more intentional about finding things that the opposing coach is going to exploit on your team, and then preparing your players and putting them in that situation and saying, if I'm them, this is what I'm doing, so we better be working on this. And again, they're bought into, we have to continue to challenge them in practice, even if it's so-called late in the year or the second round. It's incredibly important that you keep getting better.